Hello, it is Willie P Streams. Well, really, it's Willie P TV1, but it's Willie P Streams around here. All right, now let's get this thing going further. All right, so I think we will immediately probably get into. Um, I have found a video by Matty Balls. Everyone go subscribe and like the video. It's the worst. It's the internet's corniest rapper gets worse, and then it's Dax, and it was just put out 6 hours ago. Um, like I said, go run up his numbers, go look at it. But I'm gonna go ahead and let's give this thing let's give this thing a whirl. All right.
Was fairly successful with hundreds of millions of streams and a handful of awards. But if there's anything more prominent than his accolades, it's the fact that he is extremely corny.
Oh, you know what, guys?
You're insane. You're in pain. I can tell by what you're saying, but
Dax has grown to be a huge artist for many reasons, both good and bad, with the majority of people treating him as a meme, but not everyone sees Dax that way. He does have, albeit small, a strong core fan base. And to understand how he's become so successful despite being known as a corny meme rapper, we have to dig a little.
And no one really knows why. I'm just kidding. I can tell you exactly how I did it. I think that he used TikTok algorithms and he used Reels and he used Shorts and he just made if you make a lot, then you push them, then they're gonna get lots of views. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Deeper. I covered Dax about 2 years ago, but I think since then he's grown to another level. I was mostly speaking on his past and how he's kind of evolved, which I'm also going to rehash in this video. But after seeing the direction he's gone in since that video, I definitely had to step in and add more. Anyways, Dax is an artist who has been viral on short form platforms over the past few years for his corny music and strange marketing.
Hello? Why you act like a little ass bitch? Hello? Hello? You can hear me, right?
because I gave you too many chances to understand that pain sounds different when it's coming from a man. I needed somewhere to take my mistakes. I didn't want my family to see me cry. You're insane. You're in pain. My bad. Sorry. I forgot you were fragile.
I mean, look at this song about alcoholism, a very serious topic, with the caption, "Can anyone relate?"
Why didn't anybody tell me that alcohol was a drug? That who you are as a man is never enough?
But before he was making corny skits on TikTok and talking about alcoholism, Dax was first popping on YouTube. It all started back in 2016, when Dax dropped his first song on YouTube. Well, sort of. The song was called One Dance Spoken Word, and like it says in the title, it was more of a spoken word than a true rap song. Throughout 2016, Dax continued to release more songs, spoken words, and also remixes of other songs, which did especially well. These included his renditions of songs like Designer's Timmy Turner, which he changed to Hilly Hilly Clinton, and Foster the People's Pumped Up Kicks, which he made a Hooper version of. But Dax really got his big break in 2017 following the release of his song Cash Me Outside. The track was a play on the extremely popular Cash Me Outside girl Danielle Bregoli, and the song ended up getting him 22 million views. Pretty quickly, Dax noticed that, hey, I'm putting out these regular songs, but these songs that are remixes are doing way better, so I'm just gonna keep doing that. He took full advantage of it, completely leaning into his strength. He continued doing goofy remixes with versions of songs like Look at Me by X, Mask Off by Future, and Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. And yes, you saw that right, his Look at Me remix was about getting cheated on. During his early career, he was also putting out his own music, like his own unique stuff, but that just wouldn't do nearly as well. And I think while there's a lot of negatives to point out about Dax's music, it's hard to say objectively it's all bad. And I know I know a lot of you might think that's crazy to say, but I think Dax did have potential as an artist, especially if he was trying to make actual music and evolve and talk about things he cared about. But he decided to trend hack instead. Trend hacking is a new age term that you'll see people like myself doing, but it's where something is popular so you decide to hop on the trend, like making a video covering the news, or in Dax's case, making a song about the Cash Me Outside girl. And he would continue to do this throughout his whole career. And around this time, his style of rap was in high demand, in part due to something else that was happening in the mid 2010s. This was the blow up of rappers like Lil Uzi, Yachty, Kodak, Cardi, Lil Pump, and a bunch of other guys in that genre.
And I truly feel like some of these dudes don't really get any respect. just because they're from the mumble rap era. But like, I mean, if you look past the shoddy lines at women, and you look past the like the drugs and all that sort of talk, um at the core, sometimes the messages that they spit were realer than some of the old cats that spit. So, and I think a lot of that came, the mumble rap stuff was part of just being a part of that the era to partying. Like, it was our form of partying. It's like, it was our thing.
You guys were putting out a different style of rap, which was not focused as much on lyrics, but giving more attention to the production, the vibes, the melodicness of the song. And you guys might remember, but there were quite a few people who did not like this style of music, eventually labeling it mumble rap.
That's what's wrong right now. Everybody trying to rap the same style with the, I don't know who created it, if it was Future or...
That's funny coming from Snoop. Skibbity, scoobity, scobbity, scoobity, boop, bop.
Migos, but all them niggas sound the same.
What do you think about where things are with the artists coming up? Well, and it's not all of them, because there's definitely rappers out here who spitting bars. Like, it's not all the young kids, but there is what's the kid? Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi Vert. They're like, yo, we're not rappers. We just we're artists, or we're just rock stars.
We call it mumble rap.
Oh, so y'all got a name for it?
Yeah, me and my homies. I mean, it ain't no disrespect to the little homies, but like, they know what's up. They say they don't want to rap, you know what I mean? But it's cool for now.
In a weird way, somewhat out of like retaliation, the lyrical YouTube rapper era was born. And I'm not talking about raps put out by guys like Rice Gum or Jake Paul. I'm talking about people like Crypt, Quideka, Dax, of course, and others like that. At one point, this genre even put out a song called Death to Mumble Rap, which pretty much sums up a lot of the style's energy.
Just because you're rapping fast doesn't mean that you're saying something.
That's you! That's you! That is you! That's...
Well, the music was very forced and at times cringy, probably at most times. It still appealed to a handful of rap fans who wanted more lyricism and fast flows, which is why it succeeded. And Dax became one of this genre's fastest growing stars. As time went on, Dax's fan base continued to grow significantly. He got so popular that he even worked with bigger names like OT Genesis, Futuristic, and Hopsin. This was alongside the continued release of his remixes as well. With his understanding of the YouTube algorithm, Dax was able to use trends to his advantage and constantly go viral.
Or I can do what I gotta do to gain an audience, and once they come to my shit, they'll see that, oh man, this motherfucker is actually talented. So I'm like, hey, this YouTube route is good. I don't want to be a YouTuber, but I can use my skills to make songs and diss tracks on some of these guys to where the songs still sound like actual songs, but they're diss tracks at the same time.
His strategy was simple: post some trendy content which he knew would blow up, and immediately after post some original songs in hopes of using the spotlight to grow his own brand.
After I put out a diss track, I'd throw one of my own songs in there. For example, like, people don't understand, like, I Want is a hit song. It's almost got 3 million views, you know what I mean? So that's like another, hit right there. So I would use different tactics in order to like prepare myself for the next jump, the next move, all that stuff.
Around this time, Dax went on a bit of a hot streak with songs like She Cheated Again, Rap God Freestyle, Killshot Freestyle, and more, with these songs racking in millions and millions of views. In good old YouTube rap fashion, he also had some brief beefs and back and forths between people like him and KSI. His beef with KSI all started because KSI dissed him on a podcast.
I mean, I guess there's Dax, but like...
I didn't know him, that's it.
I mean, but he's a poor man's Hopsin, and Hopsin is the poor man's Eminem.
And so Eminem is a poor man's Kendrick.
And Eminem's a poor man's Kendrick. So why would anyone want to listen to a poor man's poor man?
And I know calling Eminem a poor man's Kendrick is crazy, we get it. But as a result, the shots they took at each other during their beef grew Dax's following even further and got him more attention. All of these views and all of this attention appeared to go to Dax's head though, because in 2019 he stirred up some beef with a fellow YouTube rapper, which worsened the public's opinion on Dax. In January of 2019, a song called Four Horsemen with a YouTube rapper named Crypt, Dax, Quideka, and Screw was released. The track was a hit among their fans. But little did they know that behind the scenes, Dax felt as if he was on a whole nother level compared to the guys on the song. He even went as far as adding a little sneak diss in the verse where he says, 3 people on a song with the GOAT. About a month later, Crypt exposed Dax for his verse's laziness and how fake he was behind others' backs, especially with Dax's real thoughts that the song was whack.
And the thing that irritates me the most is that he said he didn't like the song or believe in it at all. Even though like, he's telling me in messages that it's fire and that it's legendary, he's excited for the video to drop, send me the song so I can put it in my drive, but then behind my back saying that he doesn't like the song at all, doesn't believe in it, the video and audio is not up to quality and all this other shit. It's like, bro, if you don't like the fucking song, tell me.
People weren't too fond of the guy who seemed to be a motivational, nice guy, acting like this behind the scenes, and people became much more critical of Dax as well. They started honing in on cocky lines in his songs, like when he said, "I promise I'm gonna be one of the biggest in about a year. I promise I'll win a Grammy. I promise I'll win an Oscar." But still, this was all just in the YouTube rap scene, which was relatively small with not a lot of involvement with mainstream artists. And the cockiness must have gone to Dax's head because he felt he could take a shot at Tory Lanez. It wasn't completely without reason though, since Tory tweeted out that he was the best rapper alive and that he would body anyone else out. Dax viewed this tweet as a challenge and in turn released his diss track called I'm Not Joyner or Don Q. Honestly, this track sums up the YouTube rap era's energy pretty well because Dax was criticizing Tory for not making music about anything of substance, and obviously this didn't sit right with Tory. So when he ended up running into Dax outside of a club, he pressed him, forcing him to apologize.
Come here, this shit, or this shit's not gonna end, my nigga. Or this shit's not gonna end. Apologize, bro. Apologize, bro. Or you know what's going on. Apologize, my nigga. Apologize, nigga. I got you, bro. Apologize, nigga. I got you, man. Say sorry, nigga. My bad for the Say sorry, nigga. Sorry, G. All right, bet. I got you.
This whole ordeal was obviously pretty embarrassing for Dax and left him with his pride hurt after apologizing to Tory. Later on, they were both interviewed about the run-in where Dax provided his side of the story.
So what was going through your head when he was like telling you to apologize? Because that must
This
have
is
felt
what
like
was going through my head. And I
obviously,
think
you're not really sorry. So that's the first important thing.
This is what's going through my head. I've always told myself, like, I'm never gonna let social media make me make dumb decisions. You know, I had done getting hit in the club. I had already sprinted a half fucking marathon. The world wants me to be a big dude and be like, nah, fuck you. But I'll be like, you know what? I gotta go home to my family and shit. I'm like, all right, bro, my bad. Say sorry. All right, bro, sorry. And then the shit was over.
Right.
And I encourage anybody in that situation to do the same thing. I'm gonna teach my son the same thing, because at the end of the day, man, social media is convincing too many people to act tough when they don't need to. And the same people that are telling you to act tough are the same people who will be saying RIP and that, oh, he should have just let it go.
The situation left many people divided, but regardless, since Dax wasn't a mainstream artist, most people who knew about him only knew him from the Tory run-in. And to make things worse, Dax claimed he was jumped in interviews, but Tory dispelled these rumors, claiming they were excuses to save his reputation. And it didn't seem to work because even big names like Nav were calling him corny. Most people would call Nav corny, so to have the corny guy call you corny, I mean, it's just a lot of corniness at this point.
Nah, I can't. Nah, I just can't. It's like, come on, bro, this is corny. Ain't this the guy that said sorry to Tory Lanez? It looks familiar. Yeah, it is. He's crying over a girl that left for another dude. You're an artist, bro. Like, you go get another one.
By this point, Dax was considered a pretty big name on the internet. It wasn't without also being called a prideful, corny, and egotistical rapper. And while it seemed like things couldn't get much worse for Dax, they in fact did in 2019, where his public image took more hits. In 2019, the YouTuber Progress dropped a video titled Dax Stole a Lil Peep Verse and More. In this video, he broke down how Dax's song Not Tonight featuring Lil Peep was actually stolen from the guy who owned the legal rights to it. Pretty much what happened was Dax wanted to feature on the song from the guy who owned it, but Dax said he needed the track with an open to get it through his management. Basically, an open means I need the song but with a verse with no lyrics on it. And then what Dax did is he put his verse on the open spot, changed the beat a little bit, made some other changes, and put it out as his own song. This was especially a bad look since he was trying to leverage Lil Peep's death for more attention. During this whole affair, Dax went as far as stealing clips from old Peep videos, putting them in his own music video to make it look as if this was a collaboration, when obviously it was far from a collaboration. Shortly after dropping it though, the video was taken down, likely for copyright or maybe even for straight up hate. And this entire debacle was mostly forgotten about until Progress dropped a video covering it.
As Blaine told me directly, and other screenshots out there from others involved show, Dax begged to be on the song. And this was because he originally had declined because he didn't think Peep mattered at all, but after realizing that he was, he tried to take advantage of it.
To make things worse, Dax was also exposed for scamming fans in the video after promising a feature and not delivering.
From the start, the set price was not given. They intentionally told Dario to pay through PayPal friends and family, knowing he wouldn't be able to get purchase protection, situation, wouldn't give the down payment back even though it was not specified that it was non-refundable, pressured him with saying his friends were wrong and that this may be the biggest feature he ever gets, refused to drive less than an hour to sign a contract which was desperately needed at this point, and then tried to get Dario to pay $2,000 without a contract to sign a contract.
Basically, Dax just kept the guy's money and never delivered the feature. One fan commented, "After Dax was on that track with Hopsin, I became a fan. I'm not going to lie, I wanted to dislike your video at first, but you won me over by the end. Dax is a bad person for real. I'm no longer a fan." And this isn't the only time this has happened. Dax also allegedly stole money from someone a few years ago, as claimed by some people on Reddit, with others backing up the claims as well with their own stories. I even saw someone on YouTube saying, "I got a feature from Dax back in 2018. As an 18-year-old kid at the time, the rumors of him being a scam artist are true. He gave me a watered-down verse that didn't fit the vibe of the song, and it was noticeably a freestyle. I paid him just under 1K for 30 to 40 seconds of half-assed rapping." Dax's lofty goal of becoming a Grammy and award-winning artist by the end of the year did not happen. Instead, his reputation was hurt. He was labeled as cocky, he got embarrassed by Tory Lanez, clowned on by Nav, exposed for scamming and stealing, tried to profit off of Lil Peep's death, and
It's like how much bad stuff can happen to you. Like, come on, man. Lock in. Like, what are you even thinking?
Willie P. Streams.
What are you even thinking?
These are only the bigger things. The YouTube rap era was slowly falling apart, and Dax's music was losing an audience to listen to it. He desperately needed something to change in his career for him to recover, so that's what he did. Through the years, Dax was able to amass a core fan base large enough to still pull in millions of views for himself. He eventually released the EP I'll Say It For You and got some solid streaming numbers. The reason is because, like we discussed earlier, Dax decided to trend hack yet again, making more melodic music that fit the time. He had a few songs where he jacked other rappers' styles, but this one was a pretty blatant Rod Wave copy.
I sit and cry in my room, my heart's been broken, suffocating. How'd you do this? We were supposed to live in perfect harmony. I got half of you, you got all of me.
In 2021, he dropped his album Pain Paints Pain.
Dude, just literally straight just like stole a Rod Wave fucking. That was all a Rod Wave flow for sure. What the hell?
On Rate Your
Heart been broke so many times. I don't know what to believe.
Music, it got a 1.2 out of 5 from 112 ratings, and on Album of the Year, it got a 17 out of 100 from 108 ratings. It had reviews like, as expected, corny and unlikable garbage. Good job, Dax, you clout-chasing numbnut. And I promise this is the worst album I have ever heard. Regardless though, this wasn't the end. Dax continued to keep doing things that only further cemented his corny nature to people outside of his fan base. Like in 2022 when he started doing the open verse challenge for his goofy song Joker. This was obviously very cringy, leading to a lot of funny duets and things like that. And the song itself just sounds like something a weird kid in class would make. And I mean, the rapping isn't even good. Dax has done some decent rapping before, but this song was just bad. Someone asked on Reddit why Dax gets all this hate, and in response came a lot of answers. Has anyone mentioned he's corny yet? Very cheesy, lyrical, miracle, spiritual, individual type of rapper. Dude can rap his ass off, he's just too try-hard and sweaty. I looked at cover art for Joker and listened to about 20 seconds of it and found out why he's corny. The thing is, Dax has always been the same at the core. He never changed. His corniness didn't really get any worse, and he was always this way. It was just that his scope got bigger. That and his audience outgrew him. A lot of the young people who were listening to these lyrical, spiritual, miracle YouTube rappers got older and were like, I don't really want to listen to this anymore. So again, because copying Rod Wave wasn't working, and his old style was out of date, like a chameleon, Dax had to adapt. Dax continued putting out songs until he put out the track Dear Alcohol, which was a smash hit and his biggest song to date. I didn't even realize this, but that song actually went platinum, which is crazy. And after dropping Dear Alcohol, there was clearly a major shift in Dax's attitude.
Like, when I tell you they went on a full campaign for that song on TikTok, I guarantee money anybody in my chat's probably heard that too. But
towards the music industry. Sure, he had done the emotional sort of songs before, but nothing had hit this hard, and I bet he was wondering why. Well, it was for a couple of reasons. First of all, the music itself was a bit more country-esque, stepping outside of his comfort zone and likely attracting a new audience. Which is interesting to note because he only started making country once country started hitting the charts again like crazy. Second, this song had a very specific target audience, and that was people who struggled with alcoholism. I'm guessing that Dax figured out that making songs about sensitive issues for groups of people who struggle with certain things was the method, so he kept doing it. Do you have depression? Don't worry, Dax has a song about it. Are you a man who struggles with mental health but feel like you can't talk about it to others because you're a man? Well, Dax has you covered. Are you a Christian who feels that the world is falling apart? Well, Dax has a song for you. Are you someone who is lonely and on a dirt road? I don't know, but Dax has a song about it. Are you an insecure man who thinks all women are out to get you? Dax has a song for you. Dax has multiple songs about all of these sub niches of people who are either struggling with mental health, insecurity, addicted to something, basically just vulnerable people. And that is who he makes those songs for. Also, I didn't know where this would fit into my video, but Dax has or is on a record label called Records Label, and I just thought that was really funny. Because of how all of these topics are super important to these people, who probably feel as if popular music doesn't speak to them, they become loyal fans. Like someone commented on one of his tracks, I have never felt so connected to an artist than this man right here. I'm 32 years old and he is redefining music for me in a way I never thought possible. I saw another comment on Reddit that said, getting mainstream play as a rapper becomes exceedingly difficult when your entire discography revolves around the themes that Dax raps about. Few rappers today find success rapping about family.
Like, really, that I think that was a fake account, and because like I said, he went and hearted that, which lets me know that he seen it. So I don't think anybody would put that on one of his songs.
God, mental health, and substance use, let alone venturing into country music like Dax. Definitely a weird post, but there's a lot of people that feel this way about Dax's music. They feel as if he's the only person speaking on mental health or family or addiction when that simply isn't the case. His comments are the type of people that are like, I'm 23 and I don't know how to explain these feelings I have. Thank you, Dax, lyrical genius. You're helping generations more than you think. Or military for 17 years and every song hits home. Just wanted to say these are spreading like a wildfire here amongst my friends. He even gets the type of like classic YouTube comment that's no naked women, no drugs, no guns, no alcohol, just raw talent, like that type of stuff. And I'm not sure how many of these comments are real. I'm sure a chunk of them are bots, but they are all just like this. Regardless, the vibe I've got from these comments is that his fans feel like popular music doesn't speak to them, and I don't think that's the case. I mean, listen to Swimming Pools by Kendrick Lamar. It is literally about alcoholism and peer pressure from your friends and family, and that song wasn't too on the nose or corny. It was a good song that sounded great and did numbers. So maybe it's because that song wasn't super direct, like it wasn't literally titled Dear Alcohol. Maybe Dax's fans don't realize that there are better sounding songs out there about these topics, or maybe they can't understand the lyrics. I don't know. And I'm not trying to make fun of his fans here, but I am curious as to how some of these people think that Dax is the only option when it comes to this sort of music. And when I think about it, the only possible explanation that I can think of is the fact that they don't realize or understand that a lot of popular artists talk about these things as well. Regardless, Dax has clearly realized that there is a decent sized audience of people out there who are struggling with all sorts of things and feel like no one is speaking to their problems, even if there are people talking about that stuff and they don't realize it. So Dax decides to do it himself. I think a great example of this is his song Lonely Dirt Road. The lyrics go, I needed somewhere to take my mistakes. I didn't want my family to see me cry. They'll never know I'm carrying all of this weight, dealing with the pressure of trying to provide. Who do you think this appeals to? Maybe a dad with a wife and kids? I saw someone call it divorced dadcore, and with the skits that he made to accompany the song, that sounds about right. But I'm willing to bet that Dax isn't a divorced dad, so most likely he's pandering to an audience. This just makes his music come off as content marketed to a demographic, not actual art. Even if the music was good, him making all of these TikToks and skits to promote it, which works by the way, really seems to cheapen the music. I was just doing a video and talked about how Paul McCartney didn't want the Beatles music in commercials because he felt that it cheapened it. Now imagine putting your song in a million corny TikTok skits every single day. Like, look at this one that says, can anyone relate? broken heart crying emoji. Anyway, Diary of an Alcoholic just dropped on YouTube. Like, I don't think a real alcoholic is gonna cheapen and like trivialize such a serious topic so often. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it came out that Dax has never had a drink in his life. But his grift doesn't stop there. Not only has Dax gone from corny YouTube rapper to anti-mumble rap lyrical spiritual miracle rapper to emotional mental health Rod Wave knockoff, but there's another demographic that likes his painfully bland and corny music, one that he targets quite a bit. Dax has a handful of songs with Tom MacDonald, who is notorious on the internet for being a corny mega rapper. Most of his fans give me the impression that they're the type to say, I don't like rap, but I like Tom MacDonald. They claim that all rap, except for people like Tom MacDonald or Dax, only talks about drugs, violence, and women, whereas Dax and Tom speak the truth. I mean, they even have a song together called Blame the Rappers, where the chorus goes, you can blame the rappers that you blow up, but your favorite songs are about doing drugs. So what happens after these kids grow up? Regardless, these songs are also pretty political, with some like Propaganda appealing to people who I guess are super paranoid that literally everything is propaganda, or the song Black and White where Dax rapped, I'm not that mad at the past. I mean, it was only a couple of centuries. Well, actually I'm pissed, but won't let that be my identity. So on behalf of all blacks, I forgive and don't want to be enemies. I just think it's crazy that he spoke for an entire race of people. But regardless, I don't think I need to explain who these songs are marketed toward. Most recently, they put out a song called Soldier where Tom jumpstarts his verse with my pronouns are he, him, his, and claims that the hardest job in the world is being a man. It becomes very apparent that Dax makes extremely niche music for a niche of people who have mental health struggles, addiction struggles, insecurity, or things along these lines.
All right, bro. What kind of beat we tracking to? Bro, are you okay?
Yeah, just going through a lot lately.
You can talk to me, bro. Is it a girl? Family
What
stuff?
even in the fuck is this?
Work? Your job?
This is the most corny thing I ever seen.
Honestly, there's nothing you can do, man. Just load up a sad beat and let me get this off my chest, alright?
What Dax is doing now is really no different than when he was just remixing songs or jacking other artists' styles, like the Rod Wave song. The problem with Dax is that he isn't an artist. He doesn't have his own style. He morphs to the situation. He has potential as a musician if he made actual art, but he doesn't. He makes content marketed towards certain demographics. And he doesn't even treat his own music seriously. As you can see by the multitude of his TikTok skits, he doesn't care about how his art is perceived. Dax has shown time and time again that he isn't an artist, but someone who is calculated, making songs for a target audience. He doesn't care how corny it is to the majority of us because he is profiting off of communities who are going through things, making disingenuous music about these struggles. And I wouldn't put it past the proven scammer and the guy who stole a Lil Peep song to also grift or be a phony or a fraud in his music. Now, I don't want a moral grandstand or anything here. I really don't think what he's doing is like super wrong. I don't think it's the worst thing ever. I don't particularly care for it, but I don't really care if he keeps doing what he's doing.
Yeah,
I just think it's fascinating that there's an audience out there that really enjoys this music, like truly, and that he's figured that out and knows how to perfectly market towards them. And to most of us, it just seems like he's a corny guy who fell off, but in reality, he's profiting significantly off of this. Dax is the biggest he's ever been, with a platinum and a gold song in the last 2 years. Something that's pretty much unheard of from anyone else to come from the YouTube rap community. So clearly, he's doing something right. If you like this video, you might like my video about the craziest non-rap.
He's TikTok pushing like hella hard, but basically go subscribe to Matty Balls, go like his video. You know, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing up out of here. Yeah, this has been Willie P Streams, and thank you for watching. I appreciate you. So I'll see you in the next one. Bing bop, boom bop, bing bop, bam.